Folks, my first guest is an actor, writer, and director you know from Reality Bites, Boyhood, and Leave the World Behind. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Ethan Hawke.
Thanks, guys.
Hey. Nice to see you again.
This is fun.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I want to get to Wildcat because we talked a little bit backstage. I'm a huge fan of Flannery O'Connor and you and your daughter Maya, who plays Flannery in this movie. But I got to ask you about this right here. People are very excited that you made a cameo in Taylor Swift's newest video.
Yeah, that is
right
not,
there.
Yeah.
We got you, Taylor, Josh Charles, and Post Malone. How did that come about?
Well, Stephen, I'm very popular, you know? I mean,
I forgot. I keep forgetting.
People seek me out, you know? It just happens. No, I have to tell you, so Josh Charles and I were in Dead Poets Society together. We've been friends for our life. And,
there you go.
Oh, there we are.
There you go. The Dead Poets Society.
Well, unfortunately, we don't look like that anymore. We got this call. Taylor's releasing an album, The Tortured Poets Department.
Yeah.
And I think she wanted to hide a little Easter egg about Dead Poets Society.
Right.
So
Well, there's a reference there.
Yeah.
There's a reference there.
You can't imagine what it's like to walk through an airport with a friend that you've known for 35 years, that you grew up with, and watch all the young people in the airport with their Eras sweatshirts on and their Taylor Swift things. And we got something on them. We're going to meet the Queen ourselves right now. And for Josh and I, we laughed ourselves silly the whole day. We felt like the biggest rock stars in the world. And Josh is different than me. I tried to low-key it, and Josh, we got to Taylor's camp. He's like, hey, you guys got any sushi? Oh, let's get some sushi in here right now. We had the best sushi I ever had in my life, you know?
Wow.
It was fun.
Now, you've got two teenage daughters. Did you get to say, hey, I'm going to go do this?
No, I signed an NDA. I could not. You tell my teenage daughters that I'm going to meet Taylor, and everybody at school is going to know, and then they're.
It wouldn't be fair to them. There's no way they could keep a lid on
and I'll
it.
tell you, the truth is, when they did find out, the look on their face was one of profound disappointment. Like,
Why
Taylor, they want to be. Don't pay attention to my dad. My dad's an idiot. You should be calling me.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I've been there.
You have, yeah. So they're just, Taylor belongs to them. You know, I can't have that on them. So I had to low-key it.
You've now directed this film called Wildcat, which is also the name of a short story by Flannery O'Connor. Before we get into the film, what was your introduction to Flannery O'Connor? Because for me, it was because she was my mother's favorite author. Oh, really? Your mom's favorite author?
Yeah.
I read it to try to understand my mom a little bit. So we had something to talk about.
Wow. Well, my mother was selling college textbooks in Atlanta, Georgia. She's from Fort Worth, Texas. And Flannery meant a lot to her. And she used to give her short stories to me, I think, trying to provoke the inner feminist in me. You know, I was 14, 15, reading Kerouac and Hemingway and all those usual knuckleheads. And,
Right. She's trying to get you to read something good.
Trying to get me to read something good. You might want to listen to a woman for once in your life, you know?
Yeah,
And so that's what was, thank you, Mom. But so you can't imagine, I'm really interested in your experience with your mother, but you can't imagine what it was like years after that experience with my mom to have my 17, 18-year-old daughter come to me and say, have you ever read Flannery O'Connor? And I was like, yeah, I have. She said, well, what does this story mean? Did you read this one? What does it mean? And so I was like, oh, I'd go back and reread that one. And it gave Maya and I a meeting place. Because Flannery asks a lot of profound questions, very serious questions that she doesn't answer.
About just being a human being, what the experience is like to be with other human beings in the light of
in the
light of the grace of the Holy Spirit.
That is what she writes about. She's a very devout woman who took her faith to a very profound place. She was met with the truth of mortality at a young age. Maya was 24 when she was playing the part, so we focused the film on that area. She was diagnosed with lupus at 24, which had killed her father very quickly. So she wasn't sure whether she was going to see the next Christmas. The whole of the rest, she lived 15 years. But it took her to the deep end of the pool as far as asking serious questions about why we're here and what is love and what is grace and what is the point and what is this society that we live in that is full of so much hypocrisy. And she asks questions that make you deeply uncomfortable. Why do really bad people often succeed? Why do really good people are ignored? All these.
There's also one of the things I mentioned this to you backstage. Is one of the things I really like about the complexity of the characters that she writes, or her view of the characters, even if the characters are presented in a simple way, is that there aren't really heroes. There isn't a hero of the story. There's just another human.
And you know, as a reader, it's very disappointing. It's frustrating. We want to see heroes. Who is the good guy? Can I be the good guy? Who am I supposed to relate to? Because we all want to relate to the good guy. And she never gives that to you. She never makes it easy in any moral situation, in any, whether it's family, society, she always makes you so uncomfortable. A very pious person will be fake. A debauched alcoholic will say something profound. You're never sure what you're looking at.
The seemingly simple character might actually have the answer without even necessarily knowing it. It's hard to talk about her stories without giving things away, because there are surprising denouements to these stories that can absolutely grab you by the heart, if not by the scruff of the neck, and just absolutely rattle you in the last half page of her stories.
I found that's where Maya and I met talking about it, because you'll finish one of her stories. I highly recommend them, and you almost feel so upset. You have the feeling that I don't like that story. I don't like that story.
Everything that rises must converge.
It's so upsetting.
I don't think I've cried harder in my life than the last half page of Everything That Rises Must Converge.
I know, it's brutal. And, but it leaves you with this other feeling, which is that you want to read it again. I'm upset, but wait, what did it mean? Why did she say it that way? And why, I could talk about Everything Rises Must Converge, but let's sit down, let's order a meal. Because but that was the fun of working on a movie with my daughter, who she brought this project to me. This was her passion. That was my mother's passion. So I'm having a cross-generational conversation, and it feels. And
you're a son and you're a father. You are just a middleman.
And I'm an American. And as an American, Flannery holds us to tasks and forces us to look at a lot of things that we're really uncomfortable with. And so looking at the past is difficult. Now that 70 years have gone by or so since she was writing, a lot of it is extremely difficult to look at and extremely valuable to look at. I found the whole process of making the movie enlightening.
We have to take a quick break, but stick around. Right back with more Ethan Hawke, everybody.